clap. All right. So we are recording now. Cool. All right. So how to use your chart. So we're going to start by talking about our rising signs first. I'm basically going to go over all 12 houses, but we're only going to focus and deep dive on like your money houses. Okay. But we're going to start with the rising signs. So all of you guys know your rising signs, correct? You're all like pretty well enough versed on your own chart for at least like your top three and kind of knowing your other planets and stuff like that. I know you always joke and say it's like Spanish, but you do understand a lot more than you give yourself credit for. Okay. So it's up to you. If you are a whole sign house user or Placidus. Today I'm just going to reference things as whole sign, just one sign per house. But if you're looking at your chart and it gets confusing because you're like, oh, I actually have two or three zodiac, signs covering this one house, like you can listen to both things for both signs if you want to, or if you just want to like keep what we call like the ruler of that house and just focus on the one thing, then do whatever's going to be easiest for you. Okay. Okay, so these are the money houses that we're going to talk about, plus a little extra. So we're going to talk about our rising sign, which is the ruler of our first house, which I did not put on this one, but so we're going to talk about the second house. That's going to be our income, money mindset, our pricing, our value. We're going to jump to the sixth house, which governs our daily work, habits, and our routines, our systems. Normally, when we're talking astrology, sixth house, it has to do with like our day-to-day life. And so everything that I put together, I wanted it to apply towards business themes. Okay. So if you're like, oh, I never really heard about it applied like that, I wanted to talk applying your chart just to your business or your income. Your seventh house, which is normally our one-on-one relationship house, this is your one-on-one client relationships, those like deep partnerships, like a me and Shannon kind of thing, or a you and Helen kind of partnership where it's like we are, one-on-one building something up together. Um, so that's the seventh house. Eighth house, we're gonna jump into, and you like my coloring job over here. Um, it's like not that amazing, but eighth house will be this one right here. And that is our investments, high ticket pricing, the transformation, because it's the transformative house, right? It's also our shared resources. And so normally in astrology, we talk about the eighth house being shared debts, shared income. So if you're going to talk about in business, then this is our shared resources. If there's multiple business partners, or if there has to be like a loan or taxes or stuff like that, that's going to fall into like eighth house categories. Oh, and I did not color it, but I missed the whole 10th house altogether. Sorry. So midheaven is going to be when we look at your charts and you see that line that says MC, that's going to be the entrance to the 10th house, which is your career house and your legacy. And it's like your public image. And I always say it's like the legacy or that you leave behind. Um, it's your style of leadership, your brand's biggest like spotlight. Okay. 11th house, this is our house of our groups and communities normally. And so when it comes to business, this is going to be our social media, our digital stuff, our audiences. And if our third house would be like our local community, our 11th house is going to be like our big grand scale community and reaching people worldwide. 12th house is our normal house of like our subconscious and our inner being and our inner workings. So this will be more about the energetic alignment of things. Y'all good so far? So again, first house back to the rising sign, personal brand and visibility. Third house is communication style. Fourth will be emotional foundation. I added home office vibe because fourth house is normally like our house and home and the place that we feel safe. It's our nest, our comfort, our family. This is interesting. Also, um, if you are wanting to look at business with family. So keep that in mind. I have big fourth house stuff, and then I have a lot of stuff that I do with my family. And so it all kind of falls into place and makes sense that way. Fifth house is our house of creativity. It's our expression. It's our roar, how we put ourselves out there. Ninth house is like the learning and the teaching part of it, because normally that's the house of higher learning. I think you guys are all pretty familiar with this, but just to go over it. Oh, and I just realized that I forgot to finish filling out the rest of that. So my bad. Sorry. I was doing it from my phone, and then I meant to go back and like triple check everything 100 times. So my fault. So Sun rules Leo. This is our leadership and purpose. Moon rules Cancer. Cancer rules the moon. This is our emotional connection and nurturing. It's our intuition. It's our feelings. Um, Remember the moon is cyclical, so it's going to be on that. We can oh, track the moon. Sorry, I didn't see the chat. Oh, my bad. There probably is a reason that I'm blanking on right now, down to like the original like Hellenistic astrologers who created and mapped everything out in the skies for some reason. I'm just I don't know the quick answers to that. Okay, so Cancer rules the moon, emotional connection. Okay, so Mercury has two rulers, Gemini and Virgo. So this is your communication and strategy styles. Venus, very Taurus and Libra. So those are both rulers of Venus. So that's money mindset, client attraction, and also for me, it's like the beautiful things, the artistry, the love, the relationships. I do have Libra that runs through some of my second house, which Libra is about unions and partnerships. So to be a wedding photographer just made a lot of sense for me. And looking back, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is how I make my money, right? I photograph unions and beautiful things, right? Mars is ruled by Aries and Scorpio, and that is your action, your drive, your motivation. It's your first gear. It's like what you're going to be passionate and pour into. Jupiter is Sagittarius, and Pisces is the traditional ruler on that. And this is exciting because we do have some heavy Gemini placements in here with us today. And so Jupiter's going through Gemini right now. And so that's like something that we can look at in terms of like opening up our communication and getting our word out there. Um, Saturn is Capricorn and Aquarius. So that's going to be our structure and long term because we know Daddy Saturn is always there to be the Lord of time and teach us structure and routine over the long haul, and the consistency is what Saturn teaches us, right? So Uranus is Aquarius. Um, that's innovation, change, how we can do things differently. Um, Neptune, that's our Piscean energy, right? So that's our creativity and inspiration. Think Pisces energy of the people who can sit here and daydream out full on movies, book series, full on fictional characters, and they live in La La Land, right? That's very Neptune, right? So Pluto's going to be very intense and transformative. Um, it's someone that's going to be able to, wherever this energy is in your chart, is where you're going to be able to create massive amounts of soul growth through intensive learning and going through the depths of hell and back. Honorable mention, Chiron, that's our wounded healer. This makes sense for a lot of us that are in the healing industry. And even if it's just passion project or on the side, we want to see where Chiron is because this is where we help people even though we're not fully healed ourselves. And then the North Node is your soul's purpose and direction. Okay. So you don't have to memorize any of this stuff. A lot of the times, like we'll just talk about it anyways. Like you'll hear conjunction basically just means you have like alignment with multiple planets that are like, sitting on top of each other in a straight alignment, right? Versus like a sextile is going to be two planets that are a couple that are, 60 degrees or two signs over, squares being a 90-degree angle between two planets, right? So they talk. That's going to be more of a tension thing. This is going to make sense if you're like, I struggle with putting myself out there, or I struggle with being this, because it's like, oh, okay, so maybe we might have a couple planets that have like a square to each other where you might struggle with Mercury squaring something else, right? So that's why I wanted you to be able to like have the slideshow so you can just go back and check your on your apps. You can see the degrees of your planets and you can see, oh, if I have 27-degree moon and I have a moon in Cancer and a 27-degree Venus in Scorpio, you're like, oh, okay, these things are going to have aspects because they're both in water signs, right? Okay. And then just as a quick refresher, I mean, I kind of mentioned it on the other slide. But in the terms of like the business persona and flavor of the different signs, and this is where you're going to want to take notes on the rulers of each of your houses, because we're going to talk about what rules that house and what the motivation or strategy is for that fire, fire, earth, water, or air in that. So Aries energy is going to be, it's Mars, so it's bold action. It is a starter, it is a go-getter. It might be someone who starts something but doesn't finish. Versus like Taurus comes in and that's the consistency builder, the routine, the structure. It wants quality and stability, Taurus energy. And so it's willing to stop and think about all the different ways that it can do things so that it's done right and doesn't have to be done again versus Aries is just like psh, let's just start, right? Gemini energy, that's our air energy, that's Mercury. So it's very adaptable. So it's mutable energy. And so heavy Gemini energy is very multi, like we talk about manifesting generators, multi-passionate people, multifaceted people, right? So that's Gemini energy where you're like, you know, it's sparkling from all the facets of the things that it can tap into and create. Cancer energy, we know that as our nurturing mama energy. This is our intuitive guide, our intuitive muscle. Um, this is leading people by feeling. Max doing women's healing circles, very Cancerian in nature, right? Because it's healing for the woman or healing for the womb. Leo energy is going to be about like being true to the heart and expressing oneself honestly and authentically. Where Virgo energy is like, okay, wait, we're about service, but we need to be efficient and we need to get our systems in order, our automations in our order, our workflows, our um, pipelines, everything needs to be consistently going. So Libra, again, Libra energy is very, very much about like balance and partnership and harmony. So wherever this energy is in your chart, it's like it, this is where it's going to seek to find the counterbalance, but also beauty because Venus. Scorpio energy, which I know we got some Scorpio energy here in the house today. Very, again, strategic, transformational, an emotionally deep entrepreneur. So I love this because this is like, we don't just sell shit just for the sake of selling shit. Like, I'm not in sales just to make money. I'm here to make an impact on the things that I do with my career and stuff. Sagittarius energy, visionary, expansive, thrives on teaching or global reach. And that's because Sagittarius normally rules the ninth house and Jupiter energy. So it's very like jovial and it's the philosopher. And it can't get enough information, but it's also the house of foreign travel. And so, wanting to reach all ends of the world, however it can. Um, Capricorn structured. This is like, again, our legacy. Hold on. How do I hide this bar? Hide floating meeting controls. There we go. Okay, sorry. I couldn't see. So again, Capricorn's the Lord of Karma, the Lord of Time, and it is success and long-term goal driven. And we have Max, our Cap Queen. Um, this is okay, what are we doing? Not for today, but for 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, for the next generation. What are we gonna, what's the long haul gonna be? Aquarius energy, this is like, okay, cool. I'm here, but I need to do things for the people, for the community, for the bigger humanitarian part of things. and it's very it wants to do things differently and not traditional, where it's coming out of Capricorn energy. Capricorn's tradition, right? Aquarius is like, no, not anymore. We're breaking loose and we're doing things differently. So let's talk about your guys' rising. Tell me your rising. You can start.
Libra.
Aquarius.
Okay. So then, and then Daisy, also
Libra.
Libra rising.
Yeah.
And then, so that means you're going to want to see where Venus is in your chart, because that means your chart ruler is Venus. And then, Molly, you have two planets you can look to, because there's a traditional and a modern ruler. So, see just what resonates the most for you. So you can look at Saturn, but then you can also look at Uranus in your chart, or those transits. Because based off that, we're looking at, okay, Max and Daisy, when it comes to business and stuff, you're going to need to do things with other people. Being a Libra rising, it's like, look, collaboration, people oriented.
What
You're
does
going to do,
Venus look like? I'm looking at this one, right? Like the
yeah. So your first house is Libra because you're Libra rising.
but you said look for the Venus, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. So your Venus is,
Pisces, right?
yes.
Ugh.
And this is where I think I can share my
Okay.
screen.
So Libra ascendant, but Venus and Pisces, so that would go together because Libra is ruled by Venus, right? Is that what you're saying?
So hold on, I'm pulling up yours real quick.
Okay.
Yes. So, yeah, because so your chart ruler's Libra, Venus. So you're going to look to your sixth house in Pisces. So sixth house of your day-to-day activities. Is where you're gonna want to like pay extra attention to when we hit that sixth house slide. And then Miss Molly, if we're looking at Saturn for you, ooh, are you a 0 degrees Pisces Saturn? You are. You're a 0 degrees Saturn in Pisces, Molly.
I don't know what that means.
So it's like it's it's a lot different than a Saturn in Aquarius type person, right? You're gonna be like, you're brand new to this as a soul, to this journey, like learning structure with the thoughts and dreaminess of Pisces. And because Saturn is very like it's the again, it's the cup, right? And Pisces energy is all that water and dreaminess and ideas. So this is going to be a real lifetime of you to focus on, like coming up with the consistency and the workflow. But Pisces energy is also very like spiritual. So you like finding your spirituality, finding your routine and things. So we'll look at it when we get to the sixth house, but so we'll look at that one. The other one that it could possibly, like I said, if we're looking at the modern ruler, would be in your 12th house in Capricorn.
Thank you.
Want to write that down. And then Daisy,
Venus and Leo.
and you are, let me see.
Right?
Yep, Venus and Leo, 29 degrees. So the 29th degree
Oh,
is I
29.
just want you to think of it this way when you have the 30 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Being 0 degrees something means you're like starting brand new in this
Mm-hmm.
soul journey, learning to master it on this iteration. Being
Mm-hmm.
a 29 degree means you've already completed the whole, you've gone through all the first of them, and you're like, it's like being a mature Venus in Leo versus a baby one. it's like the
Oh,
easy way of like,
I get it. I
yeah.
understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Go. There we go. All right, so we're gonna go to the second house. And so Daisy, second house ruler for you is Scorpio. And let me see if I can share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at.
Mhm.
I think I'm Scorpio too for second house.
Yeah, because if you're Libra rising, you guys are going to have the same or similar.
Makes sense.
It's not letting me share my screen. It says that the host share screen options, multiple participants. Okay. No, try screen. Start. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so this is Daisy. So, okay, so the second house is going to be how you earn your money.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is for everybody, not just you. Sorry. This is going to talk about how you think about money and how you can make money off your natural talents. Um, the house ruler and planetary placements are going to guide your ideal pricing, offers, and income flow. So, what I would say, somebody that has Scorpio in the second house, um, so your rulers are Mars.
Give him some food.
What was that? Just kidding. And you also have Jupiter and it's conjunct Uranus also in your second house. That's what this one is.
Oh.
So there's a lot of expansion and luck in that second house. So that's a house also where I've seen studies done on like there was like a Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley thing where
Hmm.
when he died and she got money, it like it
Hmm.
triggered some sort of like transit to her second house where she like got a sudden windfall of like income or inheritance or like the selling of a house and or something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's so all right, Daisy. So Molly, you got that Pisces ruling your second house.
Yes.
So again, go back to your Pisces energy. This is where you're going to make money on your imagination and your intuitive business creations, okay? This is where you are going to tap into and not be afraid to step into making money either as a healer, a seer, oracle, something of that nature. So Max got a big, look at this. Pluto goes deep and she does like real deep, like emotional therapy, like down to your childhood core wound healing stuff. So that's right in alignment with you. The moon and Saturn conjunction is very interesting for me because in astrology, the moon represents the mother and the Saturn represents the father. So you could do very well strictly helping people with their inner mother father wounds or balance divine feminine masculine sides. Okay.
All right, on track.
Any questions so far? All right.
No.
So this is where I think you guys were all water except for Molly, right? or no, Molly was water too. All you guys were water. So intuitive with money and income tied to emotional labor or healing work. Okay, sixth house. So again, this is our daily work habits, our structure, client facing stuff. A sixth house to me is what I call and tell my clients these are my admin days. So I personally have to split up my work. So like I'll do my shooting, but I won't do my editing the same day if it's not required of me. Like I will schedule my admin days so that I can sit and like even like putting together this slideshow had to include it on my sixth house type admin work where it's just the grunt work, right? Where it's the blog post where it's like getting all the photos put together to put out to schedule for social. It's like the boring day-to-day stuff. But to me it's also like on Instagram or wherever we're showing up where people see us because they're seeing the results of us showing up every day. Okay, so helps identify ideal routines for productivity and service. Sorry, delivery. There we go. I couldn't see because like our faces were on the side. Planet placements show how you manage responsibility and efficiency. And what routines, so the question for your journal is going to be what routines help you stay organized and serve well? So again, I should have put that. Oh, actually here. So let's see what your guys' sixth house. So Max has the water sign Pisces sixth house. Molly's also gonna be, but she's Cancer, but still water sign. And then that's gonna be the same for Daisy because she's actually because your time, you might actually have Aries ruling your sixth house. One second. Yep, you got 0 degrees Aries ruling your sixth house. So Daisy, you're
Yeah.
going to be fire sign for your sixth house. So you need in your day-to-day life, you need excitement, variety in your daily routine. You would thrive in a leadership role and you like need shit to like be constant. Like it probably wouldn't surprise me if you didn't mind working in a fast-paced environment where shit was just getting flown at you all the time versus somebody who needs the water, who has the water sign in the sixth house, like
Yeah.
they might need, I need to slowly wake up and I need to come into myself and I need to like have my whole routine and I have to have like hours of quiet before I can even face the world. And if I have an appointment at 12 o'clock, forget it. I'm not doing anything else until that point.
Nope.
Like,
I hit the ground running.
so just take note of those feelings and
Yeah.
accept that that's gonna work for you and it may not work for somebody else.
Okay.
And
That's
same
cool.
same for them too, for the
Yes.
water sign girls.
Self-love right now instead of judging myself or like that's how I operate. It's how I've always operated. It's like
Mhm.
don't fucking talk to me in the morning.
No, exactly. You're like, not till after.
Noon. So I say
Yeah.
it's like one of my sayings. Like don't talk to me till afternoon.
So that's our sixth house. Your daily routine is going to be really important to you because the ruler of your chart is in that sixth house. And you have Venus conjunct Mars in that sixth house. So it's also going to be very important for you to have movement and a little bit of fire and something to stimulate you, even if it's at home in the safety of your nest. You still need to do something that's going to like, you know, challenge you.
What do you so you said because Pisces or sorry, Venus is in my sixth house, which is ruled by Pisces. That's why there's like an extra.
So you have all that water sign. So like right here, how it's like you need a calm environment or you need flexible scheduling. So you, because you're not like a Capricorn sixth house, someone with a Cap or a Virgo sixth house is like, they would die with the lack of structure that you lead your life. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Somebody that has a heavy Virgo placements or whatever is like, no, 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 no. We need right. The Venus part is like you're gonna need to tap into the Venusian things, the sensuality, the tactileness of things, physically feeling good and like safe, and also needing to be around beautiful things or creating beautiful things. Um, yeah. And then the Mars part to me, I see is like you could even just like verbally speak. And Pisces nature to me is very spiritual. So like you being able to like channel divine feminine messages would something that would fall in alignment with that to me or something. All right. Seventh house. So this is our client relationships. So this is again our one-on-one client or partnerships in our businesses. Um, this is like your right hand man person, right hand woman type person. Um, this is also our contracts and our binding agreements with these people. Does that make sense? And then because it's a seventh house, it is also our partnerships and the people who can balance us out, and then how you can thrive off of like the collaboration energy. Um, so you'll want to go and then we'll see who the ruler of the seventh. So these would be like the types of people that would be good for you to work with. So for example, people are like, hey, let's collaborate. Let's work on this. Let's host this thing together. Let's do this together. If you're wondering, should I or shouldn't I, think about like what type of person that they are, not necessarily that they're exactly that energy. So, for example, Max is a fire sign, seventh house, because you're Aries. Molly would be also fire. Daisy's ruled by fire because Aries, I don't know if you can still see the screen, but there's that little bit of Aries right there, but then she's got a lot
Yeah.
of earth sign Taurus energy in there. So I would read both of those. So having all the fire sign, this is like working with people who are motivated, driven, natural leaders, and I added this too because it's like direct communication is a value because
Yes.
it's like, please just speak your mind.
Yes.
It won't hurt my feelings. Please just tell me.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Do you guys have questions on your own house or planets in your house or anything specific?
Was that for all of us or just for Daisy?
So this is for all you guys have like fire energy in your seventh, ruling your seventh house.
Okay.
So yours is just Leo, theirs was Aries, but you have Leo Virgo in yours. And so the one I have on screen is you. So in your Leo energy, you have Chiron, which is that wounded healer, and Mars energy. So you go to Mars and Leo. And then this is I'm not really addressing it because I don't know how to apply it towards business per se. It's just asteroid, and I forgot to disable it when I um pulled up your guys' charts, but that's the Juno asteroid. But I would say Leo specifically is working with people who, because Leo is the spotlight. So it's like working with famous people or working with people who are in the spotlight or the leader of their group, the leader of their pride, and people who work as a healer because Chiron's in there as well. So it's like people who talk about healing would be very easy for you. And I think that the fire energy would be good for you to balance out all your Gemini energy because it's like people who can self-motivate and lead and guide because you're like, oh, but I can go ahead and like use all of my energy, my Gemini energy and communication or Sagittarius stuff, like to ground certain ideas. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right. Eighth house. So if you look on the axis of the charts, the second and the eighth house are opposite axis. So when we're talking astrology, these two offset each other, where like if the second is like our income and our money, the eighth house is still income money related, but it's the shared money, the shared income, or the shared debts, the shared taxes of things, or the prices that we have to pay for things. So think eighth house being more of a bigger picture, like commercial loaned commercial loans with multiple borrowers because there's multiple business partners versus um, me selling stuff on my side hustle income. That's just me, right? Eighth house is like us as a business or a bigger partnership. Um, Also your high value offers. So like if we talk about big ticket items, this could be um, the strategy for like if you've ever realized like, oh, I've taken all these classes or I've learned all these tips and how these other people run and launch their programs, but it's never quite picked up for me. It could be because that's not your what your alignment is or your style. Um, what else was I going to add to this? I was just going to say something else and it totally just went bloop. Okay, so reveals how you approach deep client work, boundaries, and income sustainability. One of the things I was going to say, I remember now. I remember running this lady's chart and we were looking at eighth house specifically for people because I realized that some people's gifts are in making other people money. So I saw a lot of people who were great at investments have heavy stuff in their eighth house. Or if they were able to like part of their thing, like they could flip money, take something and flip it and, psh, you know, like nobody's business. And it would just come naturally, right? Can also reflect subconscious money beliefs and energetic capacity. Where's our boundaries? Where's our own limitations on how much money we think that can pass through our hands actually in a lifetime? And how much of that is our limited beliefs, right? So then the journal question for this one is what value are you truly exchanging through your work? Is it healing? Is it somebody who's an investment banker that says, yes, you give me $100, I will give you 1,000. That is eighth house energetic exchange. Feel me? Okay. So eighth house, Molly's got Virgo and a Jupiter in Libra in your eighth. So that is earth and air. So it's a earth ruled house for you, but I would also look at that Jupiter in Libra, which is the air sign. So it's valuing the deep work with tangible results and pricing reflecting long-term change, but then that Jupiter will come in there and expand when you want to like transform through an idea or working with somebody else. Miss Daisy, Taurus and Gemini. So Taurus rules the eighth house for you, but then I want to
Mhm.
also mention if we're looking at the Placidus that you have again Chiron and the North Node. Um, so that's those are in air signs. So Earth for the Taurus, right? So
Mhm.
again, tangible results. Like, all right, we got to see things. I can't just talk. You have to produce tangible results.
Yep.
The Gemini part though is interesting because the North Node is like our sole purpose and our direction for this lifetime, right?
Hmm.
And so this could be with all your Libra energy, it's almost like this soul is learning how to do things with other people this iteration and this time.
Oh.
And I feel like even just that that Chiron sitting in there,
Hmm.
this one, it's like I see this happening on instead of like a one-on-one level, where if this were in a second house thing, saying, oh, okay, yeah, I would be a coach or a one-on-one person. This
Yeah.
to me is seeing on a bigger scale, like maybe an organization or like I keep feeling almost like domestic violence or like a being like a
Oh,
shelter or
yeah.
how like somebody with these kind of placements in the eighth house would be really good at like fundraising money for a deep healing cause. Like that is what I'm trying to spit out basically. Like I'm trying to put all the pieces together.
Yeah.
So where it's not, like I said, it's not me booking a one-on-one session for a healing session with you, but instead you going, okay, I'm going to rally the troops. We're going to get the people together and we're going to take what little money we have and we can fundraise and make this into a bigger pot, basically.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Max, you have a little bit of Aries. So Aries is technically still the ruler of your eighth house, but you have a whole lot of Taurus energy in there, girl. And that North Node. Um Taurus is all about stability, right? And so the North Node, if we're talking business and we're talking eighth house being an exchange or an investment, this to me is like if you stay in real estate, this is communal living or selling communal properties that add energetic exchange and value to a bigger whole. Is that sorry, I feel like I'm literally like spitting it out in chunks. Um and because to me it's Taurus, it's like land, property, right? But I see it as the farm, not just here's your single family home that I'm trying to sell you. I'm actually selling you something tangible and long term, right? Earth sign that will add value to your life. Do we get everybody?
So even though there's only like the tiniest bit of Aries, it's still, huh?
So I still see it as, yep. So even the tiniest bit of Aries means Aries is going to rule that, right? So this is, I would still read the fire and the earth sign and apply it to both of yours because you have both energies. You just have more earth sign in there if we're looking at the Placidus version, which is what we usually typically read our charts as. Um,
What's that sign
but
Aries right there? Right underneath it?
which one?
The symbol, what is that?
That's the North Node. This one?
No, the one below it. Sorry.
Oh, that is Black Moon Lilith. I forgot to disable the asteroids.
Okay.
Sorry. You're not supposed to see that because I didn't write them out in my slides. Okay. Does that make sense? 10th house. Okay, so when you're looking at your chart, this MC, that's the midheaven. That's the entrance to the 10th house. So Maxine has Cancer and some Leo energy in there. Molly is, ooh, Pluto on your midheaven, girl. Pluto and Scorpio on your midheaven, Molly. We'll talk about that in a second. And Daisy's also Cancer midheaven. You just have more, you're like heavy Leo on the 10th side.
Ah,
Okay. So 10th house, midheaven, that MC mark. So this is your public image. This is the legacy you leave behind. This is your leadership style, like your persona, and long term. This is when we're looking at astrology as a whole, it's what is the legacy I want to leave behind as a human being. When I'm looking at it in terms of someone's business or career, what do you want to be known for? Period. Um, So the signs and planets here, it's career goals, brand reputation, and the direction that you're meant to grow into. Because if we're looking at the chart, remember how you were asking like, oh, why does it go this way? right? When I'm looking at the soul from birth to death, by the time the soul hits that 10th house energy, it's already learned through so many different years and generations of grunt work, bullshit jobs, side hustles, things we've done for money, like directions we've tried to go, careers we've tried our hand at. And by the time the 10th house is like, all right, here's the way that it was always meant to go. This is what it was supposed to mature and grow into this whole time. I'm doing a little Vic stick. What do you want to be known for in your business journey? Max having that Cancer midheaven. Cancer rules the fourth house, the family, the home, where we come from, our origin, back to our roots, right? So it's maternal, it's feminine, and it's ever changing, right? It changes with the moon. But being a realtor is one way that it has manifested into your life because you have been able to help people provide a safe and stable nest for their family. Which again, go back to that eighth house of yours where we're talking about the Taurus energy, tilling the field, getting it all ready, right? 10th house energy is like, okay, we're ready to put you into this place to make you feel safe. Very maternal energy. So Daisy, same thing. So working with women, mothers, any kind of safety nest, like helping people, even if it's like, oh, I work in HR or something like
Mhm.
that, but am I'm here as an advocate.
Yes.
Like something like that is when I would see this Cancer and Leo. It's like I'm meant to speak up, but I'm also meant to protect.
Yes.
And here's so you can look at the water sign, career path rooted in empathy, healing, creativity, authenticity. Can't fake real, right, Max? That's water sign. That fire energy, bold, inspiring, naturally visible, and confident. Like I'm sure Daisy having all that Leo in the 10th house, it's very hard to ignore you in a room.
Yeah, I'm loud.
Like but even if you weren't loud, some people can tune that out. But when you have
True.
like Leo energy, Leo's the sun, right? You can't ignore the sun.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Miss Molly, Pluto on the midheaven. And then let me see if your moon is in the 10th house. You are 9 degrees Sagittarius moon. So, yes, your moon is in your 10th house with the north node, I think. Hold on. Sagittarius 12 degrees, 11th house Sagittarius 14 degrees. So basically what I just did was check where your planetary degrees were, and then I checked to see the entrance of your 11th house is Sagittarius 14 degrees, and those degrees that I was looking up for your moon is under 14 degrees. So that means it's still within the 10th house. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It looks kind of confusing because it's like super on on top of each other there. But Pluto in Scorpio is like you cannot be afraid to get down deep and let people see like the transformation of you and the transformation of your business and the because you also have that moon north node in there. So it's going to be openly talking about your feelings, how things are affecting um literally like this is your soul purpose, the north node just sitting there in your 10th house like that. But the Pluto on the midheaven is like career, having a big, like it's this, and then we change it because Pluto goes through the depths of hell to come back out, and it comes back out, and it's the brand new renovated version of your career. And you, this is your legacy and the brand recognition for Molly.
Is that why I burned my digital products business down?
Because I think what you know is that you're actually going to be creating intentional things that are going to push people to actually think and do instead of just handing people the keys. Because before you were making it really easy for people, right? Here, I did everything for you. Buy it, do it, apply it to your own business. And now I feel like this might be a sign of maybe not, maybe it wasn't as emotionally fulfilling. And so if you're not feeling emotional fulfilled, Pluto on that midheaven is like, no, we need to do things that are going to make a change and an impact in people's lives, my life and people's lives. So it's like maybe now the digital products will be like stuff that we do where it's like, okay, write up some guided meditations, write up some journal prompts, write some self-reflection things, like write things that are going to make you face your you know, your stumbles and blocks. And if you want to keep it just business focused and help people get past their internal energetic blocks, that could very easily be a thing too, where you're like, all right, let's do some, you know, breathwork stuff, some intention setting or some, you
Yeah.
know, whatever to your business though, where you're like, okay, you've had a dry month. Let's do an intention setting thing for that dry month that you've had in your business, where it's not just like this generic spirituality. You're like, let's tackle this as energetics of a business, but without being cheesy.
Yeah.
Can I ask a technical question again?
Of course.
So most of mine are all even slices. Do you see how her 10th house is a very small slice
She
compared
was, yeah. So she was, think about how the earth is never fully just perfect, right? So she was born at a different time, a different location than you, and a different date when the sun, when we were orbiting around, right? So different.
Yeah, see how her first house is like huge and then the 10th house is like really small.
So
All my
if
are
you,
equal though.
but if you were to do, so that's because we're looking at the Placidus style of doing of astrology. But if you were to do whole signs, which is what most Hellenistic astrologers do, I just learn things the hard way and do it more complicated.
Okay.
Then it's even one sign per house. So this is why I tell people like if you're just learning, don't confuse yourself, just learn whole sign. And then
I'm looking at right now because it's the whole chunks.
yeah, so like this is where but
Got it.
it can completely change something if you go whole sign houses.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's why for me when I was learning astrology and learning both, learning how to interpret people's charts, I would start and I would compare it to and I would do a whole sign. And then I would look at it under Placidus and tell them, like, well, these are the blending of energies that I see in each house. And almost like every single time, people always resonated with my description of what I was picking up based off of that Placidus. There are people who have every educational purpose in the world for why they only do whole sign houses, but I'm a feeler. So I'm like, it feels right. And this is how my intuition works. And until it doesn't work,
It's helpful just to know that when we look at our charts in different forms. So thank you.
yep. And especially because if you look it up like on the pattern app versus like CoStar, like some of their defaults are different.
Mhm.
And so some of them default to whole sign, some of them Placidus. And so that's why I think it's just really important to know what planets and what signs for you. So whatever, you just know your general like energy or aspects in your chart, like as you get to know yourself better. Um, oh, let me turn it back off real quick. All right, 11th house. So this is our communities, our audiences, our online audiences, um, the collective, bigger picture. So normally this is an Aquarius ruled house. So just think about how it's for like the bigger scope of humanity. But when applied to business, we're looking at it in terms of like your online community, social media, strategy, content, group offerings versus one-on-one coaching things. Um, so this is how you're going to align with social movements, passion movements, networks, anything like that. Who are you speaking to and how are you growing that reach? So this is a house where you're going to want to go, who is my audience, right? Who are the type of people that I'm talking to or working with on this level? So let's see. So Molly's fire energy because you're Sagittarius and Capricorn. So you're fire and earth. Daisy, Virgo. So you also have Mercury in Virgo. So being of service to people, but also practical things where you're like, I'm really good at making checklists for some reason, or
Mhm.
delegating out tasks to people.
Oh
uh,
my goodness, that's awesome.
are you?
Yeah, everything that we've described, it's exactly what I'm doing.
Good. I love to hear that.
No, yeah. Oh, thank you
My
so much.
my Leo rising and Leo moon loves to hear when it's spot on.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
so
is. Thank you.
don't be afraid to let your mind and your brain constantly be able to analyze communities of people and
Hmm.
looking at things as a whole and
Hmm.
finding efficiency and finding ways that you can serve people, like more amounts of people with less amount of work.
Oh, okay.
I keep feeling you're supposed to do some like social justice work or something like that.
I've
It's,
actually been thinking a lot about it too. That's the funny part.
of course, of course, of course. So Max, you are Leo ruled 11th house with a little bit of Virgo towards the end there. So you're a fire sign. So you're going to want to work with passionate communities that are initiating and leaders, but also protectors. Leo energy, right? The lions, the lioness, the divine f- fire women. Molly, we looked at yours. Did we look at everybody's? Okay. Sorry, we're almost done. So 12th house, this is where I have my moon. This is your spiritual alignment, your energetic alignment on things. So it's normally in astrology, the 12th house is like our hidden house and the things that we like keep inside because it's subconscious, or it could be like our own internal prisons of things. But it's also like how we need to like isolate and recharge. Um, oh, there we go. So we don't burn out, but also so that we can get our downloads that we're in alignment without constantly questioning ourselves, um, without having to seek external validation for the next move that you need to do. Because it's like I take rest days because those are the days that the rest of the week or month or year comes into clarity for me. Um, so think of it like the behind the scenes. So the question, where can you bring more intuition or spaciousness into your business? So we'll look at the rulers of your 12th house. And let's look at the spiritual. Oops. Oh, I forgot my last slide. Do I have it in my? So let me see. So you, Molly, would be earth energy. So this could be um, needing to connect with earth, hike trails, climb a mountain, rock climb, um, grounded in nature, or letting yourself totally go off on a tangent. And because it's Capricorn energy, this sounds silly, but you'll probably get it. You know, when you start getting these like side ideas for like side businesses that you could do, but you're like, I would never actually do that. But it's still ideas that you get where you're like, I could totally sit down and create a whole freaking business plan for this, right? Capricorn in the 12th house is saying if you're getting intuitive downloads, don't push them away, even if it's like, how would I structure this business? Or how would I launch this thing? Or what would I need? Like, I go down rabbit holes where I'm like, if I wanted to start a snack business, like, what kind of things would I need to do to start this snack business or whatever? Like, let yourself daydream and recharge by fueling the creativity that wants to come up in your quiet time. So keep that in mind that that's earth energy for you. And then you also have Neptune and Uranus in that 12th house. So again, daydream. Neptune is like think of all the different ways you can do things because Uranus is like we don't want to do things the traditional way.
Okay, so I shouldn't act on them, right? Like I just daydream and then I leave it.
So let yourself, meaning like you don't have to launch every single idea as
Yeah.
full completion, but you can still let it play out like a daydream
Okay.
where you're like for example, this morning I was like, if I wanted to make jams and jellies and sell them, what would I need to do that? And I went down an entire Nevada cottage laws, what permits, where I could sell them, what kind of dry things I could do, what kind of ingredients I can avoid. I had a whole list of flavor combinations. Am I ever gonna launch a jam and jelly line? I don't fucking know. But you see, sometimes you just it gave me the excitement and then it helps me work with clients who then somehow later on come to me and they're like, "Oh, I've been having this idea of starting a jam and jelly line." I'm like, "Oh, that's why it came in." But also, Uranus and the Capricorn is like ch- ride the wave when you're like, "I haven't done it this way before," or "I haven't seen it done this way before." Embrace that. Okay? And did we say your moon was in 12th house? Libra, 0 degrees. Oh, you have a 0 degree Libra moon too.
Oh, wow.
So, so you were born right before the new moon.
Oh, cool.
Like the new moon was that day.
Oh,
So depending on the time, your actual time, it or it probably would have been within that close period. Um, but collaborations, partnerships, air sign energy.
hmm.
So again, it's going to be daydreaming, but instead of feeling things, it's going to be thinking them logically more.
Mhm.
Um, and then having the sun in there is like, let's shed light on these dark, hidden things that we're not supposed to talk about.
Oh,
And Miss Max, Virgo energy, Earth, being of service, serving others, but even in the quiet, even in the silence, not needing to do it out loud that everybody knows. This is, oh, I went and served, maybe serving at the church, serving the homeless, serving this, but we don't tell anybody that we're doing it. We just go and do it because it needs to get done. Or we go technically to the garden and we go and pull all the weeds without anybody asking us to do so because it needs to get done. And I don't tell anybody. We just here. I'm here. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. I'm here to do these things. Also, Virgo wanting to create a little bit of structure and letting how do I put this? I think it's perfect because if we're talking about rest and intuition, tying into spiritual alignment, to me, Virgo always represented like people who take care of gardens and people who are very regimented in the gardens and can deal with the sensitivities of the plants. So, your spiritual alignment, I actually do love that you just got your little spot out in your garden for you to connect with. This makes sense now to connect back with earth and nature, because this is where you are going to have your like your personal conversations with your higher self can happen when you're in these elements versus if somebody's more fire energy, they're going to need to be moving and grooving and like, you know, different. So, okay. This one I pulled up my own chart. I probably should have put it earlier, but sorry, I was disorganized. I'm a first house Leo rising. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it all started with myself, learning myself before I can learn other people, and finding out the Leo rising and the challenges being like, okay, well, the Leo rising means the sun is my chart ruler. Well, where does my sun sit? My sun is right on my midheaven. My sun is right there next to Mars, next to Mercury, right there on Chiron, the wounded healer. So I'm like, part of my challenge is making sure that I feel seen and heard. And I have to show up as me. People don't want to see my team. People don't want to see, like, even when I worked in offices or whatever, they would work with me because it's like, no, I want to work with you. Like, I want to talk to you. Right. So having the confidence to show up like this, no makeup, right? Hoodie, hair's like I totally took a nap next to Ezra, didn't even fix that. Um, but going, well, this is me. This is authentic Leo energy. And I'm going to put that, and that's in my midheaven. So my business has to have my face on it if I'm going to succeed, because it's my life energy, my life force energy that I'm pouring into my 10th house, right? Um, so that means my second house is Virgo. So this is interesting. So because it's service, organization, and wellness-based offerings, well, what has my family done? We were, pushing for the spa, for the floating, for cold plunge, for all the wellness, for the workshops, the retreats that Shannon and I do, like the even just the one-off events where I'm doing like the sound bath and the meditations, or like the private sound baths at my house. It's like all things that are there just to help people feel better. And then I already talked about the Libra energy being more the wedding photography stuff. Um, Seventh house Aquarius. So I align with people who are very for the people. Like, I have one-off clients that are like, different, but then for the most part, the people that I connect with and kind of latch on to the most are people who have communities, are building community, or have a sole purpose that is geared towards the betterment of helping large amounts of people, because they know that there's a lot of people that need help. My eighth house Pisces. So this is why the spirituality, the healing, and the deeply transformative work works for me. It's also like a very super psychic house and placement. So 10th house, that's the Taurus stuff. This is why you always see me talk about food. This is where I was joking. Even I found a career assessment from high school or college that I took. And based off that career assessment, it was like you should be either an artist, a photographer, or like a social worker counselor. And what do? Right? I'm a creative, but I'm also like, let me help people as much as I can. PTSD, healing, all kind of stuff, right? The other Taurus things, because Taurus is very like money, finance, like I said, um, when I was in the first grade, I would take people's rocks off of their own yard and sell it back to them and tell them there was gold in it. So I don't know how much Taurus it gets than selling rocks. um, Jobs where, first job is a restaurant, KFC, worked at like food, portrait studio, which is very Venusian because I'm taking people, I'm memorializing and creating legacy of people's families and children for their entire lives, their weddings, their this. Um, I also used to be a makeup artist, so that's very Venusian. Um, like I said, insurance. I've painted on the inside of houses. Venus is art. Taurus is the stability, the house, the finance, right? So it's like I have almost done every single combo of like Taurian type activities. um, I'm 11th house Gemini, so this is why I love digital networking. I love networking in general. I love being a middleman. I love referring people business. I love going, oh my God, I know somebody for that. Let me hook you up. And then my 12th house is Cancer, so it's why I have such a heart for like leaning towards mostly women when I'm trying to help heal or invite them to things. So that's me. Sorry. And of course, you guys already know ways to work with me. You can order a video reading, birth chart reading, book a one-on-one, all that good stuff. But I want to see if you guys have any questions. Sorry.
No, I'm good.
Was that helpful?
It was. It was actually great confirmation. I'm exactly where I need to be right now, for sure.
I definitely believe that.
That's how I felt too. Like I said, permission, right on track. Like, oh, just like a deeper level of understanding, especially being earth signs. We're very much into eating
Mhm.
material, like work. I think Taurus and Capricorn, but it's more than that, right? Like I think going deeper than you're more than just your sun, your rising, your moon, right?
Totally. Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
sent you a video I was watching the other day randomly about my Scorpio in my second house about work. And you're like, I'm doing a class. I was like, oh, perfect.
Right on time.
I
Yep.
understand this more as I feel like I'm constantly. Does that mean like I'm constantly death and rebirth? Like I have real estate, I have the healing, I have the dog stuff. I have like, does that have to do with Pluto in my second house? Like constantly death and rebirth with business?
I would say it's probably more so.
ADD?
No, no, no. Well, yes, but no. Let me see. That I would say is your sixth house day-to-day life is that Pisces energy. And so that's where it's very watery and spread out and kind of all over the place, right? But that it is what it is.
That's made me feel good, like about like how I start my days usually with a walk, but I want it to be by myself with just my animals. I need to be in the garden in the mornings, like, but then I do 3 different job things in a day, right? And
Which
just
is
go between them.
I was just thinking that myself too. I was like, okay, I woke up today and I had to do mom things, drop the kids off, and then I had to go out and do photo shoot. And then I came home and I'm like downloading all the memory cards from all over this weekend, trying to help this guy set up a surprise proposal over the weekend, trying to plan my birthday party, trying to like, oh, drop the kids off at Kumon and this and that and that. And I'm like, a lot. And then I gotta finish up my slideshow, you know. And then I had to design an ad this morning to send off to the school.
So
So it
where
was
is
just
that in your chart? Like what makes that for you?
so I have a ton of Gemini energy in my 10th house. So I'm very multifaceted and I can like, but and also I have heavy Aquarius in my 6th house. So I can like when I'm on the computer, I can literally be editing and exporting a gallery at once. Think digital, right? I can digitally multitask like a fucking beast where I'm like uploading 6 videos to YouTube on my phone. I'm like sharing reels to you guys. I'm over here creating my slides for this class. I'm on the website creating the offerings and recording all the things, right? So that's like once I nail down that I have the ability to actually put my head down and work and get shit done to completion. Now, my problem, and whether you call it problem or not, all this Taurus energy, I don't want to start something unless I know I have the time to get the bulk of it done or finish it because I'm already on to the next thing. Like, I don't do well when people want me to go back and retouch things because I'm like, I've already retouched it. And they're like, no, can you do more? And I'm like, okay, but I've already delivered this gallery. Like, okay. Okay. I don't like going back and redoing things. I don't like I'll take all 20 groceries in at the same time. Um, but uh what else was I gonna say? Oh, also, I have heavy cap in my fifth house. So it's why I used to beat myself up for thinking, why does everything have to turn into a monetary thing? Why can't I just create for the sake of creating? Capricorn in my fifth house is like, no, girl, you were stealing rocks and selling them from age 6. Like, side hustle is in your blood. Making something and selling it, even if it's a one-off thing, a piece of furniture, an art piece, something just to get it out. It's like, oh, that was fun. I just wanted to try it to just try it. So stop beating myself up on the side hustle things. I'm going, okay, maybe I don't always need to launch it, but like if I did, what do I need to do? Like I said, where I'm like, oh, I go down all the rabbit holes of like finding out what I need to launch a particular type of business. I don't think most people do that. Maybe. I don't know. But that's that. Thank you for joining me tonight, you guys.
May I ask a
Thank
quick question?
you.
Yeah, of course.
What you mentioned oracle earlier. What is an oracle?
Like a seer, like what I do, where I can just see information for people. I can trust the information that I get from their higher self. Um, so
Did you
just
watch
yeah.
Matrix, right? Mio, what is it? Mio?
Mhm.
Went to the Oracle, right? This is the future, right?
Yep. And then even the oracles back in like the Oracle of Delphi. People come to her for clarification. People come to you for wisdom. Um, and then actually, the more that you start working with people and you trust your intuition on like what information's coming through for them, um, even you helping people coach them in their businesses or their marketing, like you're still tapping into an intuitive side of them that they're opening up to you energetically. And so you just have to trust that everything you're getting is not just logic and it's not just straight from their mouth. Like you got to trust that you're going to get information that's from their higher self to instruct them on their path right now for their business or for their offerings or if they're whatever avenue you end up deciding to like go down. I realize that I attract a lot of people who are on their soul mission part of their life right now where they're like, okay, what do I do from here to find my soul purpose, my mission? Like, not a lot of people come to me for love. Like I'm not a love reader. I do read love and we do.
It love Oracle.
You're right. So I do read for people love, but like the number one thing that people come to me for, that's like secondary or third down the list. They always come to me for career, soul mission, purpose, and like midheaven type stuff. And so then when you look at my chart and go, oh, well, no wonder why. My Chiron is here, the wounded healer that can help heal something even though they're not fully healed themselves. I'm constantly trying to figure out who I am in my business and in my existential crisis of like, who am I and what am I doing with my life? You know, and I've had like 3-hour conversations with friends on the phone where I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm getting myself caught up and confused. And am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? And I think the way that it finally started to settle in for me was going, okay, I'm never going to stop having ideas. My brain is constantly thinking of things and always going. So I just need containers to put my ideas in. So if I want to do a video, a worksheet, a digital download, and it's something spiritual, I can go and put that in my Souls and Stardust container. And now it's exited me and I feel better. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but it's like, no, we're just trying a bunch of stuff because I got the idea from somewhere. And so it's always like testing it out. Or for photography, testing out an offer, a special, a workshop or a class, or, um, setting up an event for something. It's like, I have to dump it, or do I feel like painting? Okay, cool. I'm going to drop that on my Paint Pixie stuff. But at least it's giving me like a container to dump all of these parts of me into. And it's helped in like, my own life this year.
And how do you not get discouraged when it doesn't sell?
I just quietly take it down. There's times, you know, I'm also big on the energetics of whoever is truly meant to be there or experience this. Or sometimes I feel like the experience was meant for me to create it, not for someone to buy it.
Because I used to flip-flop a lot. I mean, I still do. Um, and so when I finally stopped flip-flopping back in 2018 or whenever, that's when, well, I think it was also because I broke up with my ex at the time. That's when my business like grew. This time around, like I don't know. I don't know if it's like me or if it's my messaging or um but like nothing is selling.
So that could be when the universe is literally telling you, like, okay, it's time. This one's done and tapped out. It's turning off the spigot on the energy that's flowing. I personally have gone to give up weddings before because I'm like, nobody's booking or it's completely crickets. Maybe this is my time to go. And then boom, here, I have a wedding for you. I'm like, okay, then it must not be time. Right. So you can talk to the universe the same exact way, talk to your higher self. Okay, is it time to move on from this? Like how you were saying you archived all your digital stuff. It might be one of those things where you could leave it up, but under that prior brand, the studio, right? Like the Molly Ho
Yeah, yeah.
Studio brand, you could totally leave that separate. And then like you don't have to change over your social. It's like, like you could keep rebuilding with Molly because that's the Pluto on the midheaven part that I see coming into play because you're showing people like, look at your literal username is rebuild with Molly. What does Pluto do? It's the renovation team that literally demos everything and rebuilds it to be something better. So don't be surprised when you're challenged in your own life so that you can literally like speak on the shit that you're teaching on.
Okay.
And yeah. So I don't know if that helps or not, but just know like if it means either compartmentalizing, like if it completely stops selling because you're like, all right, I'm no longer putting fuel into this fire. I'm not sending out the emails. I'm not doing the groups anymore. Like, you know, then it's done. It's done. But if you're gonna, what I would do is take what you already know how to do, which is create and just create things with intention that are going to be more towards the spiritual or the inner transformation of the mindset or the challenges for people because just keep going back to your like Pluto on the midheaven, that Scorpio energy where you're like, I'm here to help. And people are going to see the transformation in myself because you're putting yourself out there on the 10th house. It's wide open for everyone to see. And it might be raw and vulnerable and ugly sometimes, but like keep showing up. Keep showing up.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all.
And then I
Go take
think
out my contacts. I'm rubbing the crap out of my eyes.
you're good. We're just wrapping up now. The next tomorrow we have YouTube mini readings. If anyone's gonna order any of those, I think Shannon and I are gonna record somewhere around 11 a.m. my time. And then after that, we do have May 12th virtual past life regression that we're gonna do. I don't know if you guys did the first round. I don't think so. Daisy, you didn't do the first round with us, did you?
I don't think I did.
Okay. So that one was really cool. If you're able to jump on next Monday for that one, Shannon will lead us in that. And
Ooh.
then the 19th of every month is the mediumship development. I do have to shoot a conference on the next 19th, so I might either have to move it up or later to the week, but I'll send out an email. Did you guys get all the email that I sent out today with like the link and everything? Did you see that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool. Just checking. Cool. All right. Thanks for spending your evening with me. I'm gonna go.
You're the best.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Good night. Okay, how do I stop sharing though?